Well, I would do a stream, but I am not there yet. So instead, we are going to do this, what I've been talking about for a little while. And this is going to be the hard drive recovery job, right? So we're going to take all of the um, hard drives that you see here, and we're going to have OpenClaw, which let me pull over onto this screen. Um, we're gonna have OpenClaw do a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because I'm basically gonna have this thing become my business like architect. I have a lot of chats and a lot of things already saved, and a lot of structure that I've already built out. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is organize all of that. I explained that in another video, and now we're going to get started with doing that. So OpenClaw has already said hello to the audience in a previous video, so I'm going to say again, hey audience, I'm the behind the scenes file wrangler helping turn Ralph's OpenClaw setup into a clean, scalable system from C drive rescue to full multi-machine ops. Glad you're here. Let's build something real. So, what my OpenClaw is talking about is the fact that my C drive, which is like your main computer drive, I guess you could just call it the computer drive. It's not actually too bad. Anyway, like A drive, I forget what the order goes in anymore, but it's the C drive. C drive is your hard drive. It's your main hard drive that everything operates under, right? A used to be, I think, like floppy drive, and then B was something else, and then C is your hard drive. Anyway, don't quote me. You can look this all up. It's on the internet. Anyway, this drive is almost full. And in order to keep operating, I got 13 free space is 13.82 gigabytes. So that's like barely enough to breathe, let alone think. And I need this thing to actually like really, really cook, not just sort of like barbecue on the side while you're drinking beer. Like I need this to give me some like French cuisine, like sous vide. Wait, sous vide is just like boiling in water. That's like so lame. Um, I don't know. Whatever the highest quality, as you can see, I don't know food quality. Even though I was in the restaurant business, I did cheeseburgers. We did cheeseburgers and pastas and stuff like tacos. So as far as like the high end cooking stuff, okay, cool. Anyway, so let's do some of this stuff. So I've already mentioned how I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to put we're going to put everything onto one of these hard drives. What are these? I got to put it like literally in front of my face. So this is the WD Western Digital Elements 8 terabyte hard drive, and so I'm gonna open this bad boy up now because I've been meaning to do this now for like a week, but I've also been meaning to start doing videos for like a week. So all of this stuff now is just it's time because the computer's going to be coming in. I just got another hard drive for one of my other agents, which is going to be one of the other Mac Minis that I have. I have three. Well, I have two old Mac Minis that have been sitting around. Like I said, I've had a lot of old hardware that's just chilling and just doing a whole bunch of nothing. So with that, I wanted to find a way to use all of this, or at least find some reason to keep it all. Maybe I was just trying to find a reason to keep it all, and then came up with this and saw two birds, one stone, and well, whatever. Point is, we got new hard drive here, and that is going to have a bunch of transfer files from. Okay, got one of these, and then this. Okay, the cable, power, and Instruction booklet. If you've never done any of this stuff, I do suggest reading the instruction booklet at least one time, at least in your life. Like try it once, see what it's like. The authors of these things would probably love the fact that someone actually wrote or read these things. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually read this whole thing. No, I'm totally kidding. But I do want to give a shout out to the authors of these. Whoever wrote the Western Digital support con. No, wait, what is this? Yeah, the support information and contract. Here's to you. There's your stuff. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to hook this bad boy up, and most likely we're going to have to format this drive because it is not going to be in the right format that I want, or it's going to have this like safety feature that Western Digital puts on that then could potentially like ruin everything because of the encryption and so on and so forth. So we're just going to wipe the whole thing clean and have a whole bunch of nothing on it. So that it's just a clean install. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to have to disappear for a minute while I hook this up. And then we'll get some action on this screen here. So I'm going to leave it like this, even though I probably could have given you a close-up for a little bit. But yeah, give me just a second now. Well, that's interesting. So I have to run the power to a further outlet than I was expecting because of the way that it is positioned. So I have spaces in my where I normally would put it, but but I don't have the right angle just because of the way that this little sucker is like it's like that way and whatnot instead of anyway. So that makes it a little goofy. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of an interesting cable run here with this hard drive. I'm going to have to plug it into the front of the computer and put the hard drive kind of somewhere in the middle. That's all right. It's a temporary shuttle drive anyway. So maybe if it's right here, I can use it as an example. You know, it's crazy to me. I love these microphones. The clarity is absolutely phenomenal, but I just don't understand how like, it just doesn't pick up if I'm not close enough. And I mean, again, this is like the whole point of the microphone is that it just picks up really, really clean audio. Okay, so really, really clean audio. Where do we put the really, really inconveniently situated hard drive? Okay, so well, we're gonna have to drop the cable down like so. So let's start with that and see. Let's see where this thing sits after we drop it down and plug it in. All right, so I will be right back again. funny. I feel like the elevator game, like, or not even the game, the little joke. Anyway, can't do it now. I'm sitting. Ugh. You know, it's interesting. I got a lot of equipment here on my desk as I'm trying to do all this new stuff, trying to make room and make adjustments to everything I'm doing, find the right place for this, for that, for whatever. And every time I move something and get a place for something, then something else comes in. Um, how are you guys about this stuff? Do you guys keep these little cellophane things? Did you like that? So, the hard drive is going to be right here on the front of the desk, but I do have enough cable so I can run it back behind everything. But here's something funny. I'm going to lift that bad boy up just a little bit. All right, and then come back. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Dear, 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 dear. Okay, one more. All right, so I don't know if you heard any of that rambling, but I just hooked in. Oh, there it is. There's a hard drive. I mean, plugged in. You should see it here. Yep, there it is. K on Elements, and it's opening up. All right, so there it is, right there. And let's see here. What else do we got going on? Or put that right over here, like so. All right. Now we put that there, that there. All right, cool. We got plenty of space for everything that we need. Cool. Cool. All right, so our hard drive is in. It opened up, and then what happened? Did it close on us? That's not good. Okay, so you know what? Let's see here. Let's open the drive. Can we open the drive? Okay. Let's see what we have here. Do we have to format this thing? I think we got to format it. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's close this up. Let's close those up. Okay. Don't necessarily want you guys to see all of my files all the time. I'm going to clean all that up as we go forward. Nice clean desktop and drive hierarchy. So those are all external drives. This is the whole problem here is a lot of these are external drives and they've been essentially let's move this over here. It's getting a little too bright on my face. What do we have? Install Western software. Yeah. See this software right here? This is all encryption software for the hard drive, and this is exactly the kind of stuff that I do not want to have. So right here. So this is the software for the hard drive. like, depending on what you want to do with it. And I am just not. So I'm just going to right click this right here and we're going to format the out of this thing. We're going to go NTFS on this one because it's going to stay on Windows. If I was going back and forth between Windows and Mac, I would use exFAT. Matter of fact, I have one of those right here. I call it the OmniDisk, right here, V. And it is made specifically to go back and forth between Mac and PC because Macs won't write to NTFS. It's a newer, better form. Well, I don't know, better's. I don't know if the verbiage is correct there. Anyway, it's this format is really good. And what are we naming this thing? Elements? No, we're gonna name this. So if this was the staging drive, Oracle staging, let's call this, well, you know what? Yeah, just format, whatever. Let's roll. It can be called elements. Elements is fine. Okay, close. So let's open that back up again. So there's local C. We don't necessarily want that. Let's take a look at the PC. Elements, K. All right, cool. Nice and blank. Okay, so this is where we want to be. We wanted to have a nice, clean, empty hard drive, brand new, brand spanking new. Now I'm going to show you a couple apps here that I like to use. So these are kind of like streaming and gaming apps and whatnot. So these aren't so much important. We'll go over those another time. But this is what we're looking at here. Crystal Disk Info. This gives us some information on the hard drives that is not necessarily available to us just directly from the computer. So let's do this. All right. So what we're seeing here is all of the computers that, or all of the hard drives that are hooked up here, right? So here's a C drive, and then here's like how long it's been alive, right? So it's been 5 years and 151 days old. So D drive, look at this. This is 3 years, right? So D12. So that's a 12 terabyte. That's a big old. That's a big boy. Here we go. We got another one that's 2 years old. It's 2 terabyte drive. Then we got another one that's 2.5 years old. So we just keep going down the list here, right? And we just keep going and just keep going and keep going, right? Oh, so here's the new one right here. 8.50 hours, brand spanking new. It doesn't even have an hour on it. Like we're putting the first hour on it right now as we speak. So the point with that, the reason that I'm even bringing this up or telling you this is because all of the disks. So this has 3,000. This is a pretty new drive. What is that one? 5,000 WDC. Oh, that's the Western Digital. Okay. So we have a bunch of drives here like that are just kind of all over the board. So we're going to go through these. So this kind of gives me an idea of where the drives are, what their status is, how old they are. Like this one, for example, this is an old drive. This is 8 years old. It's a 2 gig drive, and this information should be coming off of this drive. And so that's going to be like phase 2 of what we're going to do. First thing that we're going to do is pull. Well, we're going to do a current state scan. So we're going to have OpenClaw do that now that all the hard drives are hooked up and now that that one has been formatted. We're going to have OpenClaw kind of take it from here. And I'm going to kind of show you how that works. Let's see, can we actually open this up so we can see all the drives? No, we have to use the little interface. Okay. All right, no worries. We'll just put that up there so we can kind of maybe watch it if we need to. Close that up. Like, we don't like how that shows. Maybe we can blur that. I don't know. whatever. Well, we don't really need to see this anyway. Or maybe we kind of do because we want to show some of this stuff happening. So we will do that. Okay. All right, let's see here. So let's tell OpenClaw that all of the hard drives are now hooked up. So, okay. All drives are now hooked up and ready to scan, including the new 8 TB drive. I also hooked up another drive that I use to move files between Mac and PC. Not OP, but PC. 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 Okay. I want a scan of all the drives, and in addition, would like a report of the You know what? We're going to go back this up a little bit because I don't want to give it too many things. I want to have it because it's supposed to do phase 1 and phase 2 all over again. And then phase 3 is going to do this thing that I was going to ask it to, which is essentially like check all the duplicates on all the drives so we don't lose anything. And then I want a report of all of that stuff. And then from that report, we're going to generate which files from where should be moved where. And then maybe we even create a duplicates folder where we put all the duplicates in there first, and then we move them from the duplicates folder. Anyway, the idea here is to not lose anything, but to move everything into one concrete place where AI, A, like the letter A, period, I, me, not the AI. Wow. Anyway, the statement works for both, for AI and A, I want it, and B, I want AI to have it. So I guess it would be better that AI has it and also I want to be able to access it. So it makes sense for agents to go through all the files because ultimately they're the ones that are going to be doing all of the work going forward. I am going to be producing all of the content that then they're going to have to go and organize. Like I was saying earlier in another video, that I basically I roll forward. I launch. I'm like a rocket, and I'm going forward and consistently creating a lot of dust and debris behind me in terms of sheer velocity, and a lot of that stuff has to be dealt with as it starts to capture gravity again and start falling, right? So like everything has to be reorganized and cleaned back up. So the AI, the bots, the agents, the entire fleet that we're creating here is going to be doing that. So I don't want to give it too many things because I want it to do what it's already said it's going to do, which if we read this, it's already kind of up here. It says, you know, that's a great move. Hook up the drives now, and then when the ChatGPT export lands, drop it in the known location. You know what? Actually, that's another thing I'm going to check because I was supposed to be. I'm waiting for ChatGPT to email me my latest export. I'm going to move this out of here because in order to get the newest ideas and chats and everything that I have in all of the different chats, because I have a lot of them. I had to export the full chat, like the full account, the data. And that last time I did it, it took like a day and a half. Like it took a while, I remember. And I still don't see it today. Yeah, definitely. What do we got? No. No. You know, it's crazy. I turn the junk mail stuff on to make sure that things don't get through, and it's amazing how stuff just gets through. Like stuff that's not even supposed to, like stuff that I already took care of, and then it's just like, dude, what? I got through. Stupid. Anyway, the thing that I'm looking for, it ain't there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're just gonna tell it that the drives are hooked up another drive that I use to move files between Mac and PC. I want to scan all the drives and reports and logged. Scan of all the drives and reports and logs. So I think I'm just going to hit enter on that and then let it go do its scan, because it's going to have to do this all over again. And then I'm actually going to tell it that the ChatGPT thing's not here yet either. T-export is still not ready or available. So let's just start with the drives. And then we're going to hit enter. And then from this point forward, it's kind of going to do its thing. And it's going to, right now, nothing's really going to be happening that we can see. So you know what? Actually, what I'm going to do, oh no, I can't. Here, hold on, maybe I can, but I might have to do it in a weird way. Let's see here. If I do this and I go in here, oh, it's going to show there. So yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to be able to show everything today, unfortunately. I'm going to have to do some adjustments. So we'll go back to the elements folder and see if anything maybe starts there. You know what? Let's just see what happens here, and then we'll get back to it. So let's start with the drives. All right, let's just hit enter and see where it goes. Boom. And as you can see, we are now running. Now, this is the part that's not all that exciting, really, because it's just waiting on a lot of stuff to happen. So realistically, we're just kind of going to let the AI do what the AI does, which is doing all the major computing that we don't want to do, which is going through and doing a scan and seeing where everything is and organizing it, making a report for it, and then putting it, and then later we're going to tag it, and it's like all that stuff, all that busy work that I was talking about before that has to get done in order to get an actual good visual of where you are. But the stuff takes so long to do that, well, that it's a really daunting thing. So I'm going to let this thing go. It's going to be timing it, right? So you can see that it's just counting and it's doing, it says it's streaming. So what's happening is kicking off a fresh full state scan across all currently mounted drives. If you can't see that on the screen, that's what it's doing right now. After that, see, here's the crazy part. I'm not even prompting this anymore. I'm just talking to it, right? I'm talking to it and having it give me information back, telling me what it can do, having it give ideas. Now, I have created a whole bunch of rules and things that I want it to follow. And that's going to be the next thing that we do. First, what I want it to do is to figure out everything that's on my computer, where it all is, and then make a map of it, essentially, and an index. Your computer used to, I think they do it still, but I don't know how, but they index all the files that are on the computer. And when doing that, it speeds up the ability of the computer to go and retrieve that file. Now, I don't know how modern computers do it. There used to be something called defragmentation. And you used to have to run that like an overnight kind of thing. And it would like defrag overnight. And then you would, in the next day, you would like your computer would be a whole bunch faster. Because like, I guess when it was writing, like it would write like Scrabble letters onto like a board, and then defragging it would actually take all the little tiles and then put them in order so that it would make sense to the system. But for speed, it like sneezes it onto the board and then later goes back and organizes it like a library. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to defrag 25 to 35 years worth of data files, video files, a business that did video, college, my buddies' projects, old documents from college. I have a lot of things that I wrote. I have amazing writing samples that I want to feed my AI agents so that they talk like me, write like me, do things like me, make decisions. No, scratch that last one. I want them to make better decisions than me. That's kind of the whole point. I want to be the one that makes the creative stuff, and I want them to be there as my back like my backbone to help perpetuate that stuff. And then also call me out when I do make a bonehead decision. Which has been probably one of the things that has helped me the best is having someone there to call me out on my own BS or bad moves. Just sometimes you just have bad decisions where you think you know all the circumstances, but maybe you don't, and you try to make the best decision you can, but you know, unfortunately, sometimes we just don't make great ones. That being said, this is one of those things where I get to create things with perspectives. So they can have my perspective, or they can have the perspective of somebody else, or some mix thereof in the middle of, so we can mix it to where it's got like its own personality, and you can create that personality now. Now, how that all works and how it remembers all that, that's what we're going to be, focusing on and trying to really hone down in the next few years. And that's just everybody. But in this case, my team is going to be like, a group of agents that follow my mission to the ability of experts in their field. And that's the part that is really exciting for me, I think. And anyway, so this scan is probably going to take about an hour or two. So I'm going to let this go, and I will be back after this is done, and we will just kind of pick up where we left off. because this is going to run in the background for quite a while. I can actually probably ask it how long it thinks it's going to take. Let's actually do that. Let's ask, so how long do you think this might take? Let's at least spell the words right. This might take. Oh, whoa, shit. There we go. We just boom. Okay, here we go. I want you to also, so this is part of the video. Oh, okay, whoa. Okay, so the drive. So current status. Great. Scan is running now across the newly connected drives. Current status. Job Alfred full state scan 1 PS1 session Brisk Otter new scan folder created. Reports full state scan. File index has been initiated and the process is still active. I'll keep monitoring. As soon as it completes, I'll give you updated drive inventory, including new 8 terabyte to PC drive, size file distribution, any scan log errors, plan of action, new topology. How long do you think this will take? Good question. Based on your last run, 22.5 minutes. The extra attached drive, I'd estimate likely 25 to 45 minutes total. Could stretch to 60 minutes if any drive is slow. USB enclosure spin up, read, retries. Right now, it's actually writing index already 240, so it's moving normally. You're about 6 minutes in, so probably another 20 to 40 left. There you go. There you go. So that's pretty cool. Okay. All right, we're gonna close it up there for now, and well, we're gonna let that keep spinning. We're gonna stop the video for now, and then potentially come back in or catch this back up in the morning once we have more information, and we'll go from there. Thanks.